Slide shoes, yes.
হ্যাঁ আছে ওই সেই দিক থেকে আজকে একটু বেরিয়ে তো মানে লিফটে একটু প্রচুর জ্যাম নামাজ শেষে একবারে লাঞ্চ টাচ করে 5-7 মিনিট চলে যে কারণে আছে জন আছে স্যারের ভাষা হচ্ছে হোম ডিস্ট্রিক্ট বা ভাষা
Basically, this is our third class and this is our second chapter. We are covering our second chapter today, so which is consumer research. The chapter name is consumer research. So there are few ground rules in the class like limit distraction, avoid multitasking, respect each other, active participation. So learning objective. These are the things we will be covering today. So in learning objective, as you can see, there are 7 points. Number 1 is how the field of consumer research developed. What are the types of research methodology to understand consumer behavior? behavior, comparison between quantitative and qualitative research design, the consumer research process, quantitative research data collection instrument, quantitative research data collection methods, case study, differences. Anybody else is coming? Anybody else is coming?
Yes. One or two left.
Okay, then let's start. Okay, so basically this is our third class and second chapter, that is consumer research. I am the lecturer for the course. My name is Tashviq. So now let's get into the book inside of the course. So ground rules. There are a few ground rules in the class. That is limit distractions, avoid multitasking, respect each other, active participation. So learning on the objective. Today we will be going through seven individual topics in this chapter. So starting with number 1, how the field of consumer research is developed. Number 2, what are the types of research methodology to understand. What are the types of research methodology to understand consumer behavior? Number 3, comparisons between quantitative and qualitative research design. Number 4, the consumer research process. Number 5, the quantitative research data collection instrument. Number 6, qualitative research data collection method. So what do you understand by the word consumer research?
Yeah.
Anybody can answer? So, number 1 point, how the field of consumer research is developed. So, how the field of consumer research is developed. So basically, field of consumer research developed as an extension of the field marketing research. Just as the findings of marketing research are used to improve managerial decision, which means we do marketing researches to improve business decision making. I mean, we change in the marketing phase the strategies. Why? Why we change the strategies in the business, in the marketing? For better sales.
Better sales improvement.
So too are the finding of consumer research. Consumer research are also done for the betterment of the customer, also for the betterment of the business. So, it uses research technique to provide systematic information about what consumers need. So, it gives an idea about what consumers need. What consumers need. What is their need? What is the objective? Using this information, brands can make change in their products. Using this research, brand can make change in their products. Like now, I use a mobile of 10,000 taka. The thing is, maximum, as example, maximum of students in this class can afford a mobile of 1 lakh taka. So, here we see using this information, brands can make change in their products. So, suppose out of 6, 5 of them can afford 1 lakh taka mobile. I can afford 1,000 taka mobile. So now, using this information, brand can make changes in their products. So depending on the
Customer.
ability of the customer, they bring change in the product and services, making them more customer centric, thereby increasing customer satisfaction. So when the product will meet the satisfaction level of the customer, then the sale will go higher. And when it will happen? When the company is offering the thing which the customers like, that will go. So suppose if today Nokia introduces a Nokia 1100, they used to have few mobiles, right? So do you think people will buy, like people like us, like age of 30 to 40, as their first mobile, not as second, not for text, as their first mobile, will they prefer? 1100, 3310, will they prefer?
No.
So that's why the brand, the company, they will need to come up with a product which will meet the customer's need and satisfaction. So then it will be a hit. They will be able to sell more and more products. So in summary, it can be said, consumer research enables marketers to study and understand consumers' need and want. So marketers get to know consumers' needs and want. Consumer কি চাচ্ছে, কি চাই কি পাচ্ছে, and how they make consumption decision. How they make the decision to buy something. That is consumption. When you are buying something, buying a product, after that you start the consumption of the product. That means ব্যবহার. So for example, a consumer For example, a consumer electronics company wants to understand thought process of a consumer when purchasing an electronic device, which can help a company to launch new products, manage the supply of the stock, etc. Carrying out a consumer electronics survey can be useful to understand the market demand, understand the flaws in their product, and also find out research problems in the various processes that influence the purchase of their goods. So, carrying out a survey will help the company to understand people's choice, also their affordability, also the mistakes they have done in their previous product. So that is why they will do a survey. A consumer electronics survey can be helpful to gather information about the shopping experience of consumer when purchasing electronics. So, if ranks, suppose LG, if they come with the old Muribhi market television, Amiga dinner television, CRT TV, will it work? It will not work. So, a consumer electronics survey can be helpful to gather information about the shopping experience when purchasing electronics, like what are the preference level of the customer, what type of TV they do like. Previously, as you say, it was CRT, then LCD, LED, 3D. So
3D, 4K.
Yes, 4K. So through the survey, the company will be able to understand information about the shopping experience, shopping habit of the consumer, which will enable the company to make well-informed and wise decisions regarding product and service. Based on that, company will be well-informed and they will bring products that meet the customer's need. So, what are the types of research methodology to understand consumer behavior? What are the types of research methodology? Are you guys aware of the word research methodology? So, all of you have done BBA, right? So, this is
I'm out of BBA. I'm engineering background.
Engineering also, you are familiar with the word research methodology?
Research, but methodology.
Methodology is no problem that you get to know now. Basically, there are two types of research methodology to understand consumer behavior. One is quantitative research, another one is qualitative research. So, quantitative research refers to a systematic investigation that focus on gathering and analyzing the numerical data. This type of research is typically used to quantify the problem by way of generating statistical data to get the statistical data. So, it allows researchers to identify pattern, make prediction and generalize finding across large population. Suppose quantitative research is applicable for a large set of people, like 100 জন, 200 জন, 100 জন. It's a big group of large population. So, qualitative research gathers participants' experience and also their perceptions and behavior in the long run. So, what will be the perception of the people regarding the product. What will be the behavior towards the product of the consumer? So it answers hows and why instead of how many and how much. So qualitative research method includes in-depth interviews, focus group discussion. In-depth interview means in-depth interview, one-to-one interview. Focus group means like we are 10% in this room, we have a discussion. It's called focus group discussion. So suppose you eight are having discussion with me. Metaphor analysis, collage research, and projective techniques. The reason for which consumer behavior researchers use this method is to understand the act of consumption rather than buying. How the consumption is done. They are more interested into why the consumption is done of the product. They are not much considering why they are buying. They are trying to understand why. Suppose he bought this chapter, so they are trying to analyze why he bought this or why he is using that, rather than doing the investigation of why he bought it. So comparison between quantitative and qualitative research design. First, qualitative research design. Data type. Qualitative research users use words and meanings. In qualitative research, words and meanings are used. In quantitative research, as you can see, it is mentioned quantitative. That means quantitative research use numbers and statistics.
Yes.
Research goal. Qualitative research explore the how and why of human behavior. How, why. Research goal. Qualitative research aims to quantify variables and analyze statistical relationships. That means quantitative research always focus with statistical data, not these things. Data collection method. It uses interview, focus groups, and observation. In qualitative research, it uses interview, focus group, and observation. In quantitative research, how data collection method is done, it uses surveys, polls. Polls mean I think in YouTube you can see during Bangladesh matches they give a pool. Suppose they are Bangladesh playing with Afghanistan, so they will give a pool. Bangladesh 3 জিতবে 200 জিতবে 3 হারবে, it's a pool. So then people do prediction. Suppose 100 জন predict করবে, suppose 20 জন বলল বাংলাদেশ 300 জিতবে, একজন বলল 2-1 জিতবে, একজন 300 হারবে. So this is pool. Questionnaires, experiments and statistical model. Data analysis methods. Qualitative data is analyzed by grouping it into categories and themes. Data collection. Quantitative data is analyzed using statistical analysis. Statistic again is the number. Research design. Qualitative research design is flexible and new methods may be added during study. That means in qualitative research, it is flexible and new type of methods can be added. That is, modification can be done. In quantitative research, it is usually fixed. That is a number. When you do the research on a number, suppose you are doing research on 100 people, like they run a 400-meter race. So when you do research, how many of them pass the 100-meter in 4 minutes? You get a number, right? Out of 100, 50 done in 4 minutes. So you get data. That is, you get a number. In quantitative research, you only get the numbers, statistical data. Suppose বাংলায় বলি 100 জন দৌড়াচ্ছে, 100 জন দৌড়াচ্ছে, যখন টাকা করা হলো 5 জন প্রথমে বের করো, প্রথম 5 মিনিটের মধ্যে 100 জন, প্রথম 5 মিনিটের মধ্যে 100 মিটার কয়জন পার করছে। সো নাও সাপোজ অ্যানসার আসলো প্রথম 5 মিনিটের মধ্যে 100 মিটার পার করছে 20 জন, প্রথম 10 মিনিটের মধ্যে 100 মিটার কয়জন পার করছে, অ্যানসার আসলো 60 জন, প্রথম 20 মিনিটের মধ্যে কতজন পার করছে, অ্যানসার আসলো 20 জন। সো 100টা ডিভাইড হয়ে গেল না? So consumer research process. consumer research process. So basically, consumer research is a structured process. Mainly, consumer research process is structured approach used by businesses, marketers, and researchers to understand consumer behavior, preference, and decision making. So basically, consumer research is done to understand the behavior, preference, and decision making. Why consumer do prefer something, or why do they take the decision to buy something. So there are a few major steps in consumer research process, which include number one, defining objective of the research. So now, in business, whether he is a marketing manager or research manager, if in a business, suppose we want to do a research on how many people in University of Scholars use shampoo for their hair. So at first, we need to come to the discussion that the research will be fruitful, or there should be objective of the research. Why we are doing the research on this? So we need to have, it is basically important for the marketing manager and research manager to agree at the outset on the purpose and objective of the study to ensure the research design is appropriate. It should have an objective. Why someone will do research for the fun? There should be objective for doing the research. Then collecting secondary data. So basically, collecting secondary data is, as you can see, a search for secondary data generally follows the statement objective. Secondary data is like a data which was done before, and now it will be used for now. But previously, someone did a research on that. How many people do use shampoo for their hair? So, secondary information is any data originally generated for some other purpose other than the present research objective. Secondary data includes both internal and external data. So, internal secondary data consists of such information as data generated in-house for earlier studies, as well as analysis of customer file, such as customer transaction, letter from customers, sales call reports, and data collected via warranty cards. External secondary data. External secondary data consists of any data collected by an outside organization. So, the major source of this data is federal government. It has example for us. Bangladeshi Bank, anybody? So, which publishes information collected by sources of the government agencies about the economy, business, and virtually any other thing related to the country. Designing a primary research study. So, the design of research study is based on the purpose of the study. If it is a destructive thing, it's a long process thing, descriptive information needed, then we will need qualitative study, and it will need quantitative study. If the purpose is to get new idea, then we have to use qualitative study. Collecting the primary data. In this step, actually the data collection happens. So data collection can be done by surveys, interviews, question answer scenario, then market report, then previous data, if there was any data about this thing. So then we get the primary data. Analyzing the data. After collecting the data, we need to analyze the data. So for quantitative data analysis, we can use different software or systematic tool. For qualitative analysis, we can use different theme or categories. Preparing a report on the findings. Based on that, we will be making a report on the findings. So this type of research happens for many things, like for launching a new product, revising marketing strategy, or improving customer service. So in this phase, what happens is we gain the actual information from the research, and we to come in a final decision in this preparing a report on findings. That's what when the research is done. Then quantitative research data collection instrument. So এই ওয়ার্ডটা দিয়ে কি বুঝবো? What do you understand by the quantitative data collection instrument?
Data collection instrument.
Like how we can
collect the data from
what are the ways of collecting the data? Okay. So quantitative research involves the collection and analysis of numerical data to identify pattern, test hypotheses or validate theories. In quantitative research, the data collection instruments are designed to produce data that can be quantified and analyzed using statistical methods. The thing is, in quantitative data analysis, it's all statistical data and number, numerical things. So here are some common quantitative research data collection instruments. Number one is survey and questionnaires. So by survey and questionnaires, by using these two tools, we can collect data from the customers. Like suppose এখানে থাকতে পারে they will consist series of questions that can be close-end question, yes no based question, good very good question, multiple choice based question, then less commonly open-ended question also can be there. Then online survey, we have platform like Google form হইতে পারে, then auto generated কিছু form হইতে পারে, paper based questionnaire, telephone based survey হইতে পারে,
SMS based survey যেমন আগে গ্রামীণ ফোন যেটা হতো কল শেষ হলো পরে একটা কাস্টমার কেয়ার কথা বলবে যেটাকে রেট করে না
সার্ভিসটা ভালো লাগছে না
ভালো লাগছে না
হইতে পারে। তারপর face to face survey যেমন হইতেছে কি when you go outside sometimes previously used to see Marlboro used to do a survey যে আপনি সিগারেট খান সিগারেট ভালো লাগে কেন খাবেন তো 10 টাকা দিয়ে এটা খান 10 টাকা দিয়ে কেন খাবেন না এই টাইপের কিছু জিনিস they used to do. So the next thing is tests and exams. Standardized tests or exams are used to measure specific knowledge skill. When it comes to test and exam, it is to determine the skill of a person. So in educational or psychological research, these tests may be assess cognitive abilities, academic achievement or other measurable factors. So there are different types of tests, pre-test and post-test assessment to measure change over time. Pre-test means before the test, post-test means after the test. Psychometric test for doing intelligence test, aptitude test and personality test. Psychometric test. সাইকোমেট্রিক বলতে এখানে মানুষের অ্যাটিটিউড টেস্ট হয়, ইমোশনাল টেস্ট হয়, অনেক রকমের টেস্ট আছে এখানে, পার্সোনালিটি টেস্ট, অ্যাপটিটিউড টেস্ট, নলেজ টেস্ট, আর ইন্টেলিজেন্স, ইমোশনাল তার স্ট্যান্ডিং আন্ডারস্ট্যান্ডিং, এইসব টেস্টগুলি হচ্ছে সাইকোমেট্রিক টেস্টের আন্ডারে যায়। নাম্বার 3, অবজারভেশনস description. Structured observation involves systematically observing and recording behaviors or events in a predefined or structured manner. That means observing and recording things in a structured manner, which is you're observing the whole thing. This can be done through checklist, rating scale, or time sampling techniques. Types: behavioral checklist, a set list of behaviors or actions to be checked off when observed. Rating scales: numerical scales to rate the frequency or intensity of behaviors. Experiments. Description: in experimental research, data is collected through manipulation of variable and observation of customers under controlled condition. Experimental tester examples: laboratory experiment, it can be done in a controlled environment. Field experiment, conducted in natural setting but still involving manipulation of variables. Scales are measure tools to identify quantify attitude, opinions or behavior based on respondents' level of agreement, frequency or intensity of certain statement. Suppose Likert scale measures the degree of agreement or disagreement with the statement. Suppose I am saying the sun rises in the west. So 1 strongly disagree, 2 agree, 3 agreed, 5 strongly
disagreed.
Semantic differential scale measures attitude toward a concept based on biographical adjectives: good, bad, strong, weak. Interviews. In structured interview, the interviewer does ask frequent questions. Set of questions in a predetermined manner. The interview can be of 3 types: face-to-face interview, telephone interview, online interview. Existing data, secondary data. So secondary data refers to that data which is done previously but used now.
From others.
So secondary data refers to data that has been already collected for another purpose, but it will be used now. Because the data was done previously, but you can use it anytime based on your need as the data is done. This could be government reports, organizational records, historical data, or data access from previous studies. Suppose you want to do a research on the number of children getting born in each month. So automatically in government phase, data is being done. How many people?
If you want
were born in October or November. So you utilize that from the government scale. Basically, this type of things is very common in abroad, in Canada, America. In Bangladesh, if you want to get this data, you have to waste a lot of time. But in other countries, it's very easy. Then publicly, so types: official statistics, census data, labor statistics. Publicly available data sets, research, database, archives. Organizational records, sales figure, medical reports. Database software. In modern quantitative research, specialized software tools have been used to do the analysis. So that means different kinds of software tools have been used to analyze the data. So these are especially useful in the field of social science, economics, and health research. So types of software tools, like for survey software, as you can see, SurveyMonkey, Qualtrics for data analysis software, SPSS, Python for statistical analysis, big data tools, Hadoop, SQL database. These are the different types of survey types. So next is qualitative research data collection method. So there are few ways by which we do qualitative research data collection. So number one is interviews. Interviews involve one-to-one setting with an interviewer. So in this interview phase, interviewer takes interview of the participants. So this interview phase can be done. It can be of 3 phases: unstructured interview, semi-structured interview, structured interview. Unstructured interview, informal, flexible conversation with no predefined set question. So the interviewer doesn't have any preset question. He will ask you as you want. That is, on that very moment, he will think of different questions and he or she will ask you questions. Next is semi-structured interview, a blend of predefined questions and flexibility. That means interviewer already came with few questions, and also he or she will ask you some questions automatically, instantly. So it's semi-structured interviews. Structured interviews, more formal and rigid with fixed set of questions, and objective is already said. I mean, the questions he will ask, he already did said that. I will ask him his name, his age, his gender. Then focus groups. Previously I said about focus groups. Now as you can see, focus groups involve guided discussion with a small group of people, typically 6 to 10 people, and they will talk about their perception, how they feel about things, and what they think is good, what they think is bad, and their experience related to topic. The group dynamic can spark new ideas as well. Suppose after as you can sitting here, you guys think of a solution which is completely new in Bangladesh. So This is the focus group discussion. Observation. Observation involves the systematic watching and recording of behavior or events in the natural context. You observe the thing. This method can be passive where the researcher does not intervene, or active where the researcher participates in the setting. So in this phase, the researcher only observes the whole thing. When he talks or when he sees something, he does the observation. Case study. A case study is an in-depth exploration of a single instance. A case, it can be a case or it can be a number of cases. So this case can be individual, this case can be organizational as well. Data are gathered from multiple sources like interviews, document observation. So that means in case we can get the questions we can get the data of the case study from interview, questionnaire, different ways. Subtypes. Single case study focuses on one particular individual organization. That means it is a single case study, and based on this case study, we can have interview, we can have documents, we can have different questions based on that. Multiple case study. That means one or two case studies done, and based on that, we will be doing the interviews, documents, and observation. Visual method. Visual methods involve using images, photographs, drawing, or other visual artifacts as means of data collection. That means data is collected through pictures, drawing, and other things which are visible things, like the picture art. This can include participant generated image or analysis pre-existing images, like types. Photo illustration. Participants are shown photographs and asked to comment on them, eliciting insights into their feeling or experience. Suppose I write and it's a Japanese flag at the front. So this is photo illustration. Participants are shown photographs and are asked to comment on them, eliciting insight into their feelings or experience. So now, suppose I ask you, what do you understand by this? This is a flag. Why is a flag? Why is a flag?
It was like a flag.
Yes. So why there is a Ramaswamy meaning?
It's a symbol of selected country like Japan.
Yes. So drawing or visual mapping. Participants draw or map out aspects of their experience or environment. So what participants do, they draw or map things based on their experiment. Storytelling. Storytelling methods involve asking participants to share stories or narrative about their life or experience. So in storytelling method, the participants talk about his experience, what he gone through regarding a thing. Suppose I told him to say something about water. So he will now tell me about the experience of him going through water in order to get water. The researcher collects these stories and analyzes them to identify pattern or deeper meanings. Online or digital methods. With the rise of technology and digital and online methods are becoming increasingly common in qualitative research. So online methods are taking the place in the research methodology things. In the qualitative research field, online things are getting very much common now. This could include online interviews, focus groups, or data collected from online forums, social media, or blogs. That is online, based on online, you do data collect, you do online interviews, focus group discussion. Types, online interview, focus groups, using video conferencing tool, Zoom, Skype, etc. to conduct interview or group discussion. Action research. Description. Action research involves a collaborative process where the researcher talks with the participants. He sets what is the problem. Then based on that, he talks with the participant and he tries to get the solution. How the problem can be solved and how the solution can be given. So as you can see, action research involves a collaborative process where the researcher works directly with participants, often in a communicative or organizational setting, to identify a problem, implement a solution, and evaluate its effectiveness. The focus is on solving practical problems while generating knowledge. পিছনে করবে এই করতে পারবো না এটা একটু না থার্ড ক্লাস হ্যাঁ এইভাবে আসছে এটাই ছিল এটা ছিল আচ্ছা আপনার যে কজন আসছেন এখানে একটু কজন আছে আপনার 3 4 7 জনের নাম একটু গ্রুপটা লিখে হচ্ছে যে যারা নতুন আসছে তাদেরকে অ্যাড করার গ্রুপটা গ্রুপটা কে আছে আমি নাই case study of the WhatsApp group and also the ERP. So what you guys do, you go through the case study, and next class we do have few other topics as well in this chapter. The next this chapter will be done. So for now, what we do? ID number to the ID number of ID number name. একজন দেন, একজন একজন, বাকি সবাই না, একজন দেন।